I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be letting go of emotional attachments. Got an email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey," he says, "Man, I screwed up pretty bad. In June, my girlfriend was missing me so much she was ready to give up her virginity the next time she was to see me. I hadn't read your book at that point, but after reading your book, I realized I was unknowingly doing the right things. Eventually, I got pretty emotionally involved with this girl, and I screwed up pretty bad to the point that when I texted her a couple of days asking if she had changed her mind, she responded, 'It's never going to happen. You need to leave me alone.' She's also got a new boyfriend. Ouch, that's painful. So here are 3 questions for you." See, the thing is that he was going along great, and then it's like once he got to the point where he was emotionally invested in this girl and was really wanting her, he got overwhelmed with his feelings and basically stopped acting natural, stopped being himself, because he felt like he needed to be different than he was, and he was probably run by his fears, his fear that it wasn't going to work out, fear that he didn't have what it takes in order to cause her to fall in love with him and want to stay with him and give up her virginity and all those things that he's mentioned here, or fear that people won't love him or accept him or they'll make fun of him, whatever it happens to be. Fear is the biggest thing that holds us human beings back from either doing the things that we know we need to do or from accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish in life. Because human beings tend to move away from fear. People will do more to avoid pain or painful consequences that they perceive than they will do to actually gain pleasure in order to experience the things that they want in life. So it's like a lot of people are just kind of fence sitters in there, and this is what happens. It's like why I talk so much about practicing with every woman that you meet, date a lot, have a good time, because when you first start applying the stuff that I teach, and you haven't dated a lot, you're going to be seeing women everywhere that you want to go out with, everywhere that you want to sleep with. But once you actually start setting dates with those women that you see everywhere and going out on enough dates, you realize that most of them you're really not going to want to have a long-term relationship with, and they'd be great to hook up with and everything, but you're just not going to connect on the level that you need to connect in order to have a great, fun relationship with somebody that you actually want to hang out with, someone who's interesting, someone who's fun to be around all the time, great sense of humor, the kind of things that most guys typically want in a girl. And so it doesn't come along every day, but you got to practice and see this is what happens when you don't have a lot of experience dating women that are super high quality women in your eyes, because you get overwhelmed with your emotions and then you start making mistakes, you act needy, you act weak, and then you do things to the point because you're totally reactionary and coming from a place of fear, and you just totally fuck your relationship up like this particular guy did. So he says, "I have 3 questions for you." He says, "How do I get over my emotional attachment with her and move on?" Well, the simple answer is to read my book backwards and forwards and start applying it. Go to the mall. I did a YouTube video a while back called Improving Your Social Skills. So if you Google Corey Wayne, Improving Your Social Skills, and watch that video, and then go to the mall on the weekends and practice for, if you can, an hour on Saturday, an hour on Sunday, because there'll be thousands of people there. Just starting conversations and getting comfortable with talking to people anytime, any place, anywhere, because you never know when you're going to meet the next great love of your life. You might be hanging out with a buddy, you might be walking down the street, you might bump into her at the mall, maybe the grocery store, in a parking lot. And if you get in the habit of, like what I talk about in that video, Improving Your Social Skills, of being able to strike up conversations with random strangers by applying the techniques that I talk about in that video, it'll become very easy and very natural. One of these days you'll just turn around, there'll be a really smoking hot girl there, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, how are you?" And you just start talking and chatting her up, and you'll get her number, or you'll ask her out for a date right on the spot and make a definite date with her right then and there, and she'll be happy to meet you out. But like I said, the idea is that, because what happens is the hard part about moving on is that the ego has an attachment to what you had, what you lost, because you get your whole identity wrapped up, because you validate yourself or your self-worth, whatever you want to call it, self-esteem, is high because she's your girlfriend, or because you got a relationship with a really hot girl that you really like and you really love and you really care about. And then when all of a sudden that goes away, what happened was you associated who you are as a human being, as a man, with being in a relationship with her. And when she was no longer in your life, and she's not your girlfriend anymore, you feel like everything that you were is not important anymore. But the thing is that it's an attachment, and you're attached to the relationship. In other words, what you've convinced yourself, which is a lie, it's a false belief, is that you're nothing without this particular person, or you need her in your life in order to be happy. And at the end of the day, when you've done this enough, when you've dated enough women, you had enough great long-term relationships with women that knock your socks off, where you realize it's not the woman that makes you happy. It's you have to be happy first. You have to be happy being happy by yourself. And I got a really great quote that I saw the other day that I want to talk about. And he said, this is from Oscar Wilde. And he says, I think it's very healthy to spend time alone. You need to know how to be alone and not defined by another person. That's why it's good now that you're single, is that you don't have somebody that's around you every day, that you can discover who you really are as a man and what's most important to you, so you can live your life from your core, from your heart, from your dreams, from something that's emotionally compelling to you. And then that way, when you meet a great girl, she just comes into your life as an added benefit, if you will, as opposed to being the source of your happiness. But practice what I teach in my book, practice the social skills, because what's happening is the reason you feel so bad is that because you want reality to be other than it is. In other words, you want her to still be in your life even though she's not, and therefore you suffer because of it. And what has to happen is you've got to accept that things are the way they are, but by practicing the things that I talk about, you start to see that, wow, with this shit that Corey's really talking about, it fucking works like a charm. And you'll be meeting women everywhere. And when that starts to happen, when that starts to become your reality, when you realize that you can pretty much go anywhere and bump into a girl that you like and make a date with her to meet for a drink or dinner or whatever it happens to be, then it's not a big deal. And especially after you go through several relationships that have lasted for several years. Because it's like every time a relationship ends, it's a part where it's painful and it hurts. Even when you're the one that ended it, you still feel regret and remorse at times because of just simply what you don't have. But when you've been through it enough, you realize you start to lose your attachment to any one particular person. And that way it's a lot easier to get over the relationship. Because the thing that's scary about it is you think, oh my God, I'm never going to meet anybody else. I'm never going to meet anybody better. I mean, that was what kept me from breaking up with my wife as opposed to getting married when we were still just dating at that point. And that's deep down what I knew I should do, but I was, I had balls the size of BBs back then, and I was just weak. But, like I said, you got to get out there and you got to practice. Because repetition is the mother of skill. The more you practice the things I talk about, the more that you see that they're real and they work. That builds your confidence. That makes you feel better. But the other thing is, just like Dale Carnegie said, inaction breeds fear and doubt. Action breeds confidence and courage. So in other words, you got to take action. The more you take action, the more you see this stuff works, and the more you're meeting people everywhere. You realize it can happen at any moment, anytime, any place, anywhere. So sit back, relax, enjoy the fucking ride, enjoy the scenery, and fucking batter up and play ball, big boy. So I've got, another question. He says, how do I overcome my insecurities, neediness, and weakness? He says, I'm taking a semester off, but I'll be going back to college next semester, and I will be seeing her then. How should I respond? Act as if nothing ever happened. Still treat her like your girl. You treat all women the same. You treat her like, hey, baby, how are you? You been thinking about me? Well, give me a call sometime. We should hang out. Have a drink, catch up. And just say it like that, and then go on about your life because she was the one that dumped you. And then if she's still with this guy, or maybe she's not, you're leaving the door open. And just go about your life. Don't worry about it. By the time you go back to school, if you practice things I teach on a weekly basis, you'll be fucking getting laid left and right, and you probably won't even want it anymore. Because that's the thing. It's like when you date enough different women, you realize you can do this over and over, and you can meet women pretty much anywhere you go. Then you realize it's easy and it's repeatable. And so what happens is, as you attract better and better quality women, your confidence grows and your fear lessens. And so this girl that means everything to you, I bet a year from now you probably wouldn't even give a girl like this the time of day. That's because your skills grow and the quality of the woman that you're able to attract grows. So that's what you need to do if I were you. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max. Just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there is a link that will take you right to the download page. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, on the right-hand side of the download page is a button you can click to download a free e-reader app for your smartphone, tablet, or your computer. And it only takes a few seconds to download and install the app and complete the purchase of my book. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these videos and the articles on my website and my ebook, you can show your appreciation by going to my website, click the Wibbia toolbar, which will be at the bottom of your screen, just click the PayPal donate button, and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.